Hey, I'm Espen Kraft and I am the 80s. But today, I'm 2021. This is the Sonicware Liven XFM. And this is a kind of a groove box with a 4-track sequencer built in. And it also has a fully editable 4-operator FM synth installed. And Sonicware, they sent me this 6 or 7 months ago. And I'm obviously not the target buyer of a product like this. So this has just sat in a box for 6 months and I really didn't feel inspired to open it at all, to check it out. But I did finally, and I have to say it's not half bad. I've spent some time with this lately, and although the pattern functions and groove functions and all the real-time things you can do with this is really not that interesting to me, I was curious to find out if I can use this as a FM synth module and if I can use this to sketch out some cool ideas on its 4-track internal sequencer. And that's what I'm going to show you right now. So a pattern is made up of 4 tracks, and you can choose any type of sound you want to a track. On track 1 here I have some drums. Track 2, I have a bass sound, and on track 3, I've set up some strings to play some chords, and I have some bells on track 4. And with these 4 tracks I've made up a complete pattern which sounds like this. So I can change the tempo, of course, and I can mute tracks within a pattern as I want. I can also change the filter, say on the bass if I want to. There are lots of different filter types inside here, so I can manipulate the sounds in real time and even program these filter sweeps into each of the tracks within a pattern and save that for later. So it's quite flexible and a lot of fun to just mess around with to get some ideas going within those 6 notes of polyphony. So let's build up a 4-track sequence in a pattern from scratch. And the first you want to do is to find a pattern and clear that out, delete everything so you can start fresh. So I'll set a tempo of my liking, and I've also enabled the metronome, as you can hear, to give me a nice click while I'm working. I've also enabled a count-in so I can do some real-time recordings from the keyboard, while some of the tracks will be step programmed. So on track 1 I'm going for a drum sound, and I have 4 different synth engines to choose from, and I'm using the library synth engine for this first track. And I'm using a classic TR style of programming to get that first kick going. And it is quite possible to use other drum sounds on track 1 if you want to, by using that program button there. When this lights up, I can choose another drum sound and step program that into this track as well, the track number 1. Let's say I want this snare drum going along with the kick. So that's the sound I like. So I'll step program that in on step 5 and 13. Again in classic TR style. And I can do some hi-hats as well. So let's put those in between. And these drum sounds are of course also synthesized by the FM engine, so these are not samples or anything like that. So on track 2 I'm going for a bass sound, which I will play in real time, record in real time. And the default track length is 16 steps, but I'm changing that now to 64, which is the maximum of steps within a track. So I can record a few bars of that bass. So let's do it. and it will now loop. The gate time of those bass notes changed somewhat, but I can adjust that. I will change out the voice mode from poly to mono on those bass notes. And I will also change out the gate time somewhat. You can also set the voice mode to arpeggiator, and there's lots of cool arpeggiator modes in here. So moving on to track number 3, which will be my chords. So once again, I'll go into the library synth engine and choose some strings, which I've also adjusted the gate times on and some attack settings, etc. Doing a little bit of sound sculpting on these. The attack time had to be shorter. So let's record those. Upon reflection, I wasn't happy with just 16 steps for that track, so I'll record that again. First, I'll just erase, delete the notes. I could also delete the sound if I wanted to, but the notes are enough here. So I'm going to record again with a track length of 64 steps instead of those 16 like I did with the bass. So I can play a little bit more of those strings. So let's record that. And on the last track, I'm going for a synth engine that lets me transform one sound over to another over a period of time. That could be a lot of fun. So let's do that on track number 4. The sound morphing synth engines are a lot of fun in this. And you can both play and record your parts, tracks within a pattern directly from a MIDI keyboard if you want to. So I've set up my master keyboard to MIDI channel 6, which is the key MIDI channel for the Liven XFM. So each time I press a track within a pattern, I can reach that sound from the MIDI master keyboard. And of course, each track can be panned within the stereo spectrum. This can all be stored within that pattern, of course. And as a sound designer, I really appreciate that this is a fully editable 4-operator FM synth. Press function and edit, and you're now in deep editing mode after pressing OK. And now, with this overlay, you have fully access to FM parameters within a 4-operator synth. So now you can harvest your old DX skills in terms of FM programming, which I will not go into here. But I really like this feature of the XFM. It makes it a whole lot more versatile for someone like myself, having those capabilities close at hand with knobs and buttons, etc. And that makes the XFM a really nice MIDI FM module synth. Well, as a travel buddy, I could definitely see myself using one of these to flesh out ideas and get some things going while I'm on the road or on a vacation or something like that. I like the FM sounds built into it. It sort of reminds me of a Yamaha FB01 or the TX81Z, for instance. And if you're more groove-oriented, live-oriented, want to interface with Korg Volcus or things like that, there's great syncing capabilities in and out on this. It's cheap, it's cheerful, and it can be a lot of fun. So check it out if you so desire. I have links in my video description. As I started, I will end. I'm Espen Kraft and I am the 80s, but occasionally I dabble in other decades and centuries as well. Today it was 2021. So until I see you again next time, thanks for watching and bye for now.